This Sunday, with the exception of George's Kick, boat 529, Black Mamba, the most senior member of the fleet, whose boat was driven onto the rocks last night at the entrance to the port of Rabadio, all the competitors are back out on the water. Those who opted to take shelter to let a very active weather front roll through, offshore of Cape Finisterre yesterday evening, are now racing again. The last skipper to take refuge on land yesterday afternoon, but also the first to cast off at around 0300 hours this morning, Austrian Christian Kargl, boat 980, all hands on deck, optimized the timing of his stopover to perfection. He is now in hot pursuit of the gutsy German Melwin Fink, boat 920, sign for com, along with the bulk of the peloton, though he's all too aware that the deficits lamented in La Palma between the first and last boats are bound to be significant. This is true for the production boats, and especially the prototypes. The reason for this is that the 4 escapees at the front of the fleet are expected to cross the finish line this Monday afternoon between 1100 and 1500 hours French time. The daring and temerity of Melwin Fink have paid off. Indeed, unlike all his adversaries in the production boat fleet, the German sailor made the gamble of taking last night's weather system head-on, and has pulled it off. Despite bracing conditions, up to 35 to 40 knots in the gusts, he managed to continue his course southwards without any major issues. This Sunday, he's making good his escape at the latitude of Lisbon with a lead of between 150 and 200 miles over the main peloton and, barring damage, looks set to take the win in the first leg of the mini Transat Eurochef with a cushion of at least 24 hours over his rivals. According to the latest routing, he should make landfall in Santa Cruz de la Palma on Thursday, whilst the bulk of his pursuers are due in from Friday afternoon. Quite a feat then for the skipper of the Pogo 3 in the colours of Singfalcom. A heist for Fink, a blinder for Kargl. It's a similar scenario for Christian Kargl, albeit it for different reasons. The Austrian, who like 82 other sailors in the event, took the decision to put his race on hold to leave time for the worst of the front to roll through, fully reaped the benefits of his stopover. The skipper of all hands on deck extended his course so he could take shelter in the port of Viana do Castelo, whilst his rivals opted for ports in Galicia from yesterday morning. Better still, he was the first to get going again at around 3 o'clock hours this Sunday, whilst the others preferred to wait for first light, or even later, before they too hit the road again. In this way, the sailors on standby in La Coruña and Portocin set sail once more at around 0500 hours. Those who stopped off in Muxia left port at 0700 hours, like those moored in Bayona, whilst those in Camarinas waited until 10:30 hours to head out to sea. As a result, the Austrian skipper is now in second position in his category with a bonus of 65 miles in relation to third place Julie Simon, boat 963, Dynamips. It's worth noting that the latter ranks among the group of 22 sailors who made a stopover in Bayona. Having made this choice collectively, this same group were keen to maintain a certain sporting equity. As such, those who were furthest ahead in terms of distance to the goal before the severe weather warning was announced, were the first to set sail again today, in order and with the exact same deficits between one another. Who will snatch victory in the prototype category tomorrow in Santa Cruz de la Palma? It's game on again then right across the board, including among the prototypes and one Piers Cophan, boat 791, Voiles des Anges. In fact, the Briton, who clearly had to contend with the worst of the weather yesterday with an average of 43 knots, gusting to 50, is currently lying in 5th position in his category. His progress over 24 hours has been somewhat dulled in the current conditions, which would suggest there may be some battle wounds, but is seemingly back on the warpath now. At the front of the fleet, there's still a fierce battle underway between Tanguy Burolek, boat 969, Tolek MP Pogo, and Pierre Leroy, boat 1019, Teamwork. Now at the latitude of Madeira, the two leaders have been constantly jockeying for position, but since yesterday evening the former skipper, from the Finisterre, seems to have the edge again. After lamenting a deficit of up to 45 miles in relation to his adversary, Tanguy is currently leading the way, with a 17-mile lead over second place. With less than 24 hours to go till the finish, will this be enough for him to secure the win? Nothing is less certain because around the island of La Palma, the wind may stall, so the last few miles may not be all that simple. The verdict is expected between 1100 and 1500 hours tomorrow, so place your bets. The most important thing to take from Sunday is the serious misfortune that has befallen George's kick. The boat skippered by the retired doctor anaesthetist and the most senior sailor in this 23rd edition was driven onto a lee shore last night as he was trying to make the port of Robadio to avoid the havoc created at Cape Ortegal. A port whose entrance is renowned for being dangerous in bad weather. This was sadly confirmed to the bitter disappointment of the skipper of Black Mamba, which promptly ran aground with the damage clearly fairly extensive.